What's up, guys? Jordan here from Show Me Vegas. Happy Monday once again. It's time to get you caught up with what happened this week in Vegas. Well, the numbers are in for this year's Super Bowl, and Super Bowl 56 shattered wagering records in Nevada. In case you were wondering, the state has 179 sports books, and those sports books brought in $179.8 million in wagers on this year's big game. Now that blew past last year's handle of 136.1 million, and it soared well past the previous record of 158.6 million set back in 2018 when the Eagles beat the Patriots. That Super Bowl brought in 158.6 million, so more than $20 million more in wagers on this Super Bowl than any other in history. Collectively, the sportsbooks in Nevada won $15.4 million on the game. That's a hold percentage or a win percentage of 8.6%. From the Las Vegas Review-Journal, here's a look at the wagering statistics on the last 7 Super Bowls, and you can see that it wasn't even close. It was not a record in terms of hold. That distinction goes to Super Bowl 54 when the Chiefs beat the 49ers. The sportsbooks brought in nearly $19 million in wins that year, but it was a fairly close second at $15.4 million. You can see here that only one Super Bowl out of the last 7 didn't generate huge wins for the house. That was, again, that Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl back in 2018. A hold percentage of just 0.7% that year, or just a little over $1 million in wins for the state sports books. Now, I've mentioned in the past, a lot of people said that the proliferation of sports betting around the country was going to hurt Las Vegas, and I didn't think that was going to be the case, and that clearly has not been the case. If anything, all it's done is made sports betting more commonplace, more accepted, and it's actually driven up the wagers placed in Las Vegas, and that's proven by the statistics. I mean, in 2021, the state of Nevada saw 3 consecutive months over $1 billion in wagers. And the state also set its all-time annual record for sports wagering with $8.1 billion in sports wagers placed in the state in 2021. So if anything, sports betting being legal elsewhere in the country has only improved the sports betting landscape in Las Vegas. Also happening in Las Vegas this week, the Nevada Gaming Commission has given final approval for the purchase of the Venetian Palazzo and the Venetian Expo Center by Apollo Global Management Incorporated. Now, this deal was announced quite some time back, but it just hasn't closed yet. They were still waiting on this approval. Apollo Global Management is a New York-based private investment company that is purchasing the Venetian and the Palazzo, the Venetian Expo Center, from the Las Vegas Sands Corporation. The approval wasn't completely smooth sailing. They did spend more than 2 hours questioning the current head of the company about the former CEO, Leon Black, who infamously had ties to Jeffrey Epstein. He is still a big investor in Apollo Global Management, but he does not any longer have any leadership role in the company. Having gotten acceptable answers to their questions about Leon Black, the Gaming Commission then voted 4-0 to approve the deal. According to Apollo officials, the deal could close now as early as next week. Now, once this deal closes, Las Vegas Sands Corporation will no longer have any assets in Las Vegas whatsoever, which is kind of a shame. Las Vegas Sands Corporation got its name from the Sands Hotel, which used to sit where the Venetian and Palazzo sits today, and it was run by Sheldon Adelson, who's one of the most influential figures in Nevada history. He recently passed away. That company is now shifting its focus, so no more Las Vegas Sands Corporation in Las Vegas. I've talked on this vlog in the past about the Palms. The Palms is going to reopen this spring. It's owned now by the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. They've been working to get that property reopened, and they've taken the next step. They're going to be hosting a career fair at the Palms here over the next 3 weeks to hire and fill all the positions it takes to run a huge hotel. They still have not announced a specific timeline for reopening the property, but this is obviously a good sign. I had speculated April, and it still looks like it's probably on track for that. There was a little bit of a scare amongst Wynn fans this week whenever it was announced that the Wynn was selling Encore. That's not Encore Las Vegas. When the news headline popped up on my phone, it was shocking because for whatever reason they included a picture of Encore Las Vegas in the article. They're not selling Encore or the Wynn in Las Vegas. They're selling Encore Boston Harbor in Massachusetts. They're actually going to be leasing it back and still operating it, continuing the trend of these big gaming companies selling off some of their real estate assets but then leasing them back. As you probably know, that has been the strategy of MGM Resorts in recent years, and it seems to be working out very well for them from a cash flow standpoint, so the Wynn is following suit. Now, when that news hit, it also brought up the fact that the Wynn is still sitting on a big piece of property right next door to Resorts World. If you've been to Resorts World or stayed at Resorts World, you've probably gotten a look at this eyesore. Now, Steve Wynn wanted to build another hotel on that property. He was going to build a third Wynn resort in Las Vegas. As a matter of fact, he had said he was ready to get going on that project right before the allegations of sexual misconduct took him down and knocked him out of his own company. But Wynn Resorts still owns this piece of property, and they haven't yet said what they intend to do with it, only that they are not interested in selling it. They are holding it for future development. Now, whether that's going to be a full-fledged resort and when that occurs, we still don't know, but the company is taking a long-term view of the Las Vegas market. They're not interested in exiting the market whatsoever. And so we don't expect anything to be built on this property anytime soon. It will not be that massive Moon Hotel you've been seeing. That Moon Hotel you've been hearing things about doesn't have a piece of property to be built on. It doesn't even have investors. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it's certainly not going to happen on this property because Wynn owns this piece of ground. Also this past week in Vegas, well, not necessarily in Vegas. Okay, the movie took place in Vegas. It was the 25th anniversary of one of our favorite movies, Vegas Vacation. Hard to believe that Vegas Vacation is 25 years old, although it is a bit more believable when you see a picture of what Chevy Chase looks like today. One of our favorite Vegas movies of all time. We actually made a list of our top 7 Vegas movies of all time. That video is back there on the channel. Scroll down a little bit, you'll find it. Watch that, see where we ranked Vegas Vacation. But that movie is now 25 years old. It's rather ironic because Wayne Newton is prominently featured in that movie, and we saw Wayne Newton on our most recent trip to Las Vegas. Back in January, we saw Wayne up close and personal. Phenomenal show. Interestingly, Wayne's old house, Shenandoah, is up for sale again. If you're interested in a $25 million mansion in Las Vegas where you can house all of the Arabian horses you can ever dream of, this might be the house for you. Some really cool pictures from the listing here. Wayne hasn't lived there for a very long time, but it's still just as impressive as ever. The estate is 39 acres. It has a gated ranch with a main mansion, 7 additional homes, air-conditioned car museum that holds over 100 cars. As of 1970, the compound had 2 Arabian horse breeding stables on the ranch, one with 37 stalls, etc., etc. It's pretty impressive. Like I said, the asking price is about $25 million. But if you like Vegas history and you've got $25 million just laying around, this is your opportunity. Finally happening in Las Vegas this week, Clark County, Nevada has issued its 5 millionth marriage license. That's right, the wedding capital of the world has now given out more than 5 million licenses. Now that doesn't mean 5 million couples have actually married in Las Vegas because the county says that 1.5% of all marriage licenses given out don't get used. I can't imagine why. But this is the lucky couple right here, Luis and Myra. They were given thousands of dollars in free gifts, including a free wedding ring, $1,500 in airfare from Allegiant Airlines, and a lot more. Congratulations to them. Anyway, that's it for this episode of This Week in Vegas. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.